Welcome to Dali Talk. This is Dali. How is everybody doing? Late and South Cat. Yes. Typical. No worries, Ella. So, what are we doing today? Couple things. I was just going to focus on the jury interviews, but the lovely Lori did an interview herself. I've only watched like 30 seconds of it, so it's going to be raw. We're going to be going in raw with Lori and hear what she has to say after the disappointing verdict. There Hey, Schneevels. How are you doing? Let's see. Go ahead and start this. Hella's going to pop in when she gets a chance. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll start with this.
As far as evidence, and I feel like we uncovered some lies.
So, literally, when the jury was released for the day, like 6 of them went one way. Nate Eaton and some of the others were just running after them, trying to give them their cards, and those 6 jurors were actually decent human beings and were like, no, shove off. We don't want anything to do with this. The other 6 went a different way, and the entire media just mobbed them, as you see here. The guy with the porn stash, hey, Peace Peony, good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. Are you allowed to initiate contact with the jurors? Once they're excused, you are. I mean, I would have been able to initiate contact with, I was standing next in line to a couple of them in the cafeteria, but I did not talk to them. I didn't want to risk any issues. Don't you have to go through court or something? It was pretty lax. I think normally, like, to request an interview after the fact, you have to go through the court, and the court will give your information to said juror. But like after, when they're leaving, you can probably go up. I mean, you just can't harass them.
So knowing now that she was
this guy here, porn stash,
convicted of killing her 2 children in Idaho.
I haven't had a chance to Google everything. I'm sure as soon as we get on the shuttle. So might have more to say later.
Was that difficult going through this?
Do any of you know who this guy is here? It's kind of hard to see his porn stash. He was there with me. We talked a little bit during lunch. And he asked me who I was, and I was like, oh, he's a small YouTube channel. And he's like, oh, yeah, me too, small YouTube channel. And it was kind of awkward, but okay. And then somebody came up and said she knew him. Stash Envy Sal? Maybe. I did say I was jealous of his mustache. It was pretty luxurious in the flesh.
As it was
disconnected?
Yeah. It just felt like there was a lot of information that didn't make sense and that was missing.
God damn it. Sorry, guys. It's on like 1.5. I was trying to find a particular part earlier.
Do you think she did herself any favors by defending herself?
No.
You were not impressed with her lawyering skills?
No.
Well, I was.
What did you think of her behavior during cross-examination? The way that at one moments she was argumentative with some of the witnesses.
Many days she just was like smiling and laughing, and didn't seem to take anything very seriously.
Were you hoping to hear a
How much of
defense?
that did that play into a factor in your decision?
It did.
Were you hoping to hear?
Again, that's not really something I would think would factor into your decision, but okay.
Her testify? Were you hoping
Yes,
to hear
I
all
was.
witnesses?
I was.
And what about you?
I didn't understand what she.
This woman, just my opinion, is not very bright. The next guy sounds at times like he's trying to he knows enough to try to say the right things to show that he complied with the rules. But I'm also going to show you the clip of where he really makes a big mistake. And I could not find the raw video of the mistake, but I did find a clip on Twitter.
Didn't call him innocent.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't get
Or why she didn't have, like, I know she made a statement about the only family that was interviewed was her estranged brother, and why wasn't her parents or her sister, but yet she didn't call them. So
I mean, in saying that, she is not obligated.
And okay, yeah, she's not obligated to call them, to call her family, princess. So Larry here, or Carl, quickly kind of steps in to, I think, preserve the record.
To prove her innocence.
exactly, yeah.
So
And you gave her that benefit of the doubt. She would recognize she didn't have to put on.
See, now this guy, he can kind of seem a little bit better. My buddy there on the middle. I don't think Heidi is. I'll keep an eye out for Heidi. Oh, actually, no, she's not here. Heidi isn't here that day. She only went to opening and closing like me. But Porn Stash here actually asked some really good questions. I was pretty impressed. I really wish I knew what his YouTube channel was. But oh well. People that aren't as smart as they think they are, truly, Lori got a jury of her peers. Yeah, well, it's Maricopa County best.
she knew.
Right,
that. Yeah,
right.
absolutely, she knew that.
Was the fact that she didn't put up a defense or take the stand in her own defense part of your deliberation at all?
No.
Did it
It was
affect?
all evidence. It was all evidence that was
Yeah.
produced and presented.
Yeah, see that guy, this guy is trying to be kind of slick, I think. I don't know, and he makes the biggest faux pas, but he's trying to say the right stuff.
To us.
Sorry if this was asked. What would you say the biggest piece of evidence for you guys as a jury was when you came to the decision?
Well, for me, like her, it was the text.
The text
were
history.
damning.
What
text history.
What
Can you
specifically
tell
about
us
the
which
text?
Oh, there were so many.
If you do that or not. Yeah, there was.
I mean,
there
we
was
had
two of them for
pages.
me that really stood out.
Can you tell us which ones?
The Nephi.
Yeah, that was one of them. Soon you will be Nephi, and so will I. So that was one of them. But I don't know if I should say anything more than that.
We heard so much about.
Well, why shouldn't you say anything more than that? That's an odd thing to say. Something smells rotten here. My girl needs another trial.
Dark spirits and religion and how this all plays into it. I mean, as a jury, what's
Whoa, look at her double fist in here. Boy, girl. My God. Look at that. Look, she's just double fisting there, the mics. She's got to, boy. You go, girl. Got him.
going through your head when you start hearing that in court?
For me, that didn't really play a big role because you have to have evidence of conspiracy, and that is not evidence of conspiracy to me.
Was
Say
it-
somebody is?
Was it
And this guy later says that he was kind of holding out. He was the holdout, not guilty. He claims until like around closing. So he's at least saying the right things, that he was looking for conspiracy, which is the right answer.
Unusual for you guys to see. I mean, you're talking about her brother Alex, the guy who actually did that was the trigger man. So many players were referenced in this trial, and you never saw them and never heard from them. That had to be confusing when you guys got back in the jury room. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
What did
it just felt like there was so much of the story that was missing.
Did she have any valid arguments, like anything that made you think maybe she's not guilty?
Do you want to answer? I can't think of any.
You know, honestly, up until yesterday, I would have said not guilty. But when the prosecutor, I don't know, what do they call that? When they give their
closing argument.
Yes, the closing argument. That's really, there's a few things she said in there, and then
argument.
yes, the closing argument. That's really, there's a few things she said in there, and then when I looked them up today, I was like, oh yeah, that's bad.
You were still on the fence yesterday.
I was yesterday. Yes.
Give us a sense of what it was like to be in that jury room. Was there any point that someone was disagreeing, saying that maybe she is not guilty?
Yes.
Were you guys?
There was a couple.
And what was that like? Walk us through.
Oh, sexual tension.
It's just a matter of, adults working things out and going through all the evidence and figuring out, what we thought, what we were going to come to an agreement with. So.
To learn now that everyone that was in that house that day, minus Daybell, is all not with us anymore, is dead or has been killed. I mean, what is that like to hear as jurors walking out?
Lesbian juror said 10-2. And you guys doubted me. You guys, I should have pulled up the clips. I meant to pull up the clips today of where I talked about her before. No shade that she's a lesbian. I'm just saying that her hair makes it very obvious. Everything I heard on Dali's channel. Okay, I'm going to say, we're going to get to the little bit, the clip that I'm concerned about. Can you just imagine, like, if there's an issue and I get called in, I get put on the stand. Ugh.
Sad. Like, I kept wanting to hear from Tylee.
I was going to ask, is anybody wondering why Tylee wasn't testifying?
Yes.
You were.
Did you ever ask the judge why aren't they here?
No. And the one witness that really got to me was hearing Kay. I was holding back my emotions.
Okay, what
I looked at Kay, I saw her smile, and I was just like, I just want to hug her.
You should have.
Yeah, well, I couldn't on the way out.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you? No, we had strict instruction.
Well, let's go find her, girl.
Well,
That's how you go.
The texts, absolutely the text. There were two texts that.
Damn cars. Let me see if I can balance this out.
And there was some footage of, at one point she said she ran out of the house, and do you know what it's like to run out of the house with bare feet when it's 112 degrees, or when it's in July, but then when she went to the store to buy flip-flops, it showed her walking in with them on. So
yeah, it is a good point. She already had she was already wearing sandals, and this would have been in July in Phoenix. So, I'm going to play part of her talking. I don't know if we're going to get to, well, she's done a bunch of interviews since, but I might play a little bit. She has gone on everywhere. Hidden True Crime, Nate, Fox 10 local affiliate, and a bunch of others, I'm sure.
and there was some footage of.
Hold on. No, that's no good.
At one point, she said she ran out of the house, and do you know what it's like to run out of the house with bare feet when it's 112 degrees? Or when it's in July, but then when she went to the store to buy flip.
It's 112 degrees in July, and she ran out of the house without any shoes on. I mean, the asphalt at that point's well over 125, 120, 125. You don't even want to take your dogs for a walk when it's that hot outside.
Gloves. It showed her walking in with them on. So there was a lot of little things that didn't add up, but I think the text was the main thing that's turned all of us. For some people, it was the shoes. For a couple of them, it was the.
Yeah, he's a feet guy.
She claimed she wasn't wearing shoes when she left the house, yet when she showed up at Walgreens or CVS or whatever, she was wearing them, and then went in and bought 2 pairs, and for some reason, kicked off the ones she was wearing and put the new ones on. So that was just odd. But I think she's just, she's guilty. It's just that simple.
Carl, you were saying about the shoes. Why would that be the thing that kind of was important to you guys? Did that signify to you premeditation?
No, it does not, or it doesn't signify conspiracy or anything like that. What it signifies is she wasn't being truthful.
And so that's what got to you, is if she lied about this, what else is there?
Exactly. Yeah, she just, chronic liar.
What were your thoughts on the gunshots, on, going through kind of that crime scene? What, did that have an impact on you?
Well, if it was self-defense, if you shoot somebody through the heart, or if you just shoot somebody and they end up on the ground and you shoot them again when they're not a threat to you, that's not legal. So, but that's all Alex. That has nothing to do with her or her conspiracy. That was my biggest thing is throughout the whole deliberation was if somebody said anything, I said, okay, but how does that prove that she conspired to kill Charles? You have to have that proof, and the proof was in the text.
That's where you just felt that was what built that case. So that last day of testimony, the prosecution going through that detailed timeline, did that help you?
Yes. Yeah. All timelines always help, but just seeing those 2 texts it just sealed it for me personally and for others.
And the 2 texts were the Ned before we got rid of him, and the 2 bullets through his body, through his heart. Those are the ones?
No, that was the first one. And the second one was it had something to do with life insurance.
Oh, Carl. Real quick before I bring Hella in here. What's the scheduling look like for Boudreaux? There's going to be a status conference middle of May, I believe. But that trial's set to start May 30th, I believe, is start of voir dire. So assuming it takes another day or two, it should probably start. Opening should be June 3rd or 4th for Brandon. Judge is planning that the trial will take the same amount of time. Hello, Hella.
Hi. Has anyone ever seen journalists just chase down jurors like this?
It's pretty common. Well, it's common for journalists to be bottom-feeding scum.
No,
to do stuff like this.
That's not what I mean. For jurors just to be thrown out there like that.
I mean, some of the jurors were like, "No, thank you," and were let go. But these 2 were kind of, I think, the weak links, and they kind of chased them down, and they stopped. So all the reporters, like if I was there, I would have been asking them questions. Of course, oh God, if only I was there that day, because I would have been asking them like really irrelevant questions.
Oh, you would have been
just to
like, where
annoy
babies
everyone.
come from.
Yeah. Well, maybe not that, but like, well, what did you think of Lori's suit on day 2? That color impress you?
How could you find her not guilty?
I would have had to think of some like really dumb questions just to annoy people. Hi, Daniel. Oh, James.
I'm actually, yeah, James Crump. I remember that one. Yeah, they chased them down.
But they're pretty.
I find this
loose with-
it's quite strange. Like
Yeah.
usually jurors are just like they're in their bubble.
protected. Yeah, I mean, this was after the verdict, so they have no use
So?
for him anymore.
Yeah, but yeah, they run away.
And only 3 of the jurors talked.
Only 3.
Yeah.
Well, there is that questionable gender person who just was like, and it's always the young one. It's always a young one. He's like, if this is what it's like to be famous, oh my god.
Yeah. I just had
Yeah.
a bad feeling about her when I saw her. And then I saw her during closing kind of smirk at Lori, and I was just like, oh, she's trouble.
Okay,
And
so this one here,
Mhm.
has he said yet that he found out yesterday?
no, I don't have the full video of that one, but I found the clip for it on Twitter, so I can play that.
Okay.
But I'm going to
Because
do
he
that.
found out yesterday, right? He
Yeah.
said it. He found
we'll
out
get to that.
yesterday. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we'll finish this up. We'll play that clip and then get to Lori's interview.
Yes.
The question about the life insurance. Okay, Carl, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And your decision today.
Is that the lesbian?
Yeah.
Oh God, he
Like-
looks different from that angle.
Yeah. It's like, what's that SNL character? Pat,
Oh yeah,
androgynous Pat.
androgynous Pat. Hey, by the way, you know androgynous Pat from Santa Fe.
Oh yeah, Popple?
Popple. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she was
saw
the other
her
one I
on
was
the
gonna
body
say.
cams. Yeah.
Oh really? Was she there? I was gonna ask
Yeah,
you.
yeah, she was there at night. Yeah,
Oh good. She
she's
still
on the
does her job.
nighttime body cam. Yeah.
Hope she wasn't handling any ammunition.
Found out what, Young? You'll find out in a minute.
One of the biggest factors was probably when we were sitting there, whenever they would ask a question about the
And ma'am, just so you know, that's a microphone, okay?
Mormon stuff and all that, she would just kind of look at us and smile and smirk. So it kind of gave.
Bitch, you were smirking during closing. Okay, little Miss Judgmental Tootsie there. You have the audacity to get mad at Lori for smirking. Should have seen your face during close. Come on now. Is that a ma'am? We don't know how she identifies. We aren't sure her pronouns.
Gave it away for a lot of it, just kind of didn't really care.
What were those conversations like in the jury room? I mean, going back and forth when everyone was deliberating. Can you kind of put us inside that room with you?
Let's see. It was kind of, so a lot of us already knew. A couple of us just needed the extra, we needed to re-look back through the evidence, the text messages and all that. So it was a little bit of back and forth, but all of us were pretty sure we already knew what we wanted.
Was there one piece of evidence that really convinced you she was guilty?
Probably when she said that he was Ned before they got rid of him. That was probably the part where we were like, okay, now it's real.
Did you ever wonder?
Hello?
That was after the fact. It's collusion prior.
Why Tylee wasn't
Conspiracy.
testifying as a witness?
Yes. We didn't really have much to say about it though because we didn't really know anything why she didn't, stuff like that.
And do you understand now that every other witness that was there that day is now dead?
Yes.
When did you learn that?
At the end when we first were walking out. Everyone was talking about it and we got told to look up her previous stuff so that we were aware.
And in that jury room, this woman's been convicted of 3 homicides.
Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't know that.
We did not.
None of you guys knew that.
Correct, yeah.
No.
Yep.
And then
Told to say
hearing
we
all
don't
the
know that.
missing pieces in the trial, the people who didn't testify. You had there were a lot of holes when you went into the jury room that were not explained to you. That must have made it more difficult.
It did, which is why we went back through everything just to make sure we didn't miss anything, to make sure that we were 100% on what we were choosing to do.
Was there anything that made you think she might not be guilty?
No.
When you went back to the deliberation room, were there any jurors that were uncertain and some that were certain? Where did you start? What was the foundation for deliberation?
I think probably 10 out of 12 of us were certain. The other 2, we helped them go back to what they needed to learn to kind of make up their mind. And then, we just kind of went from there.
Did you guys look at any additional evidence once you were back there? Because I know that not all of the evidence was presented in court, and they said there was additional. Lori asked you to watch the entire interview, for example, and Trina K invited you to do the same. Did you guys do any of that?
We did. That was actually one of the first things we did because what we saw was only clippets. And going back through it, it was actually kind of the whole interview that was like that. She asked us to watch the whole thing, but the whole thing was pretty much those clippets other than her laughing, smiling about, she was kind of just at peace. Like she was just sitting there, her legs were crossed. She was sitting all the way up on the seat with no shoes on, just her legs were crossed like she was in her own home.
Lori made a big deal out of being called nonchalant or calm throughout the entire trial. Didn't think it was really fair. Was that something that affected you guys? Her calmness or nonchalantness?
Yes. Being that calm when everything happened, it's not something that you would normally be calm about. You'd expect to be sad, asking how your brother's doing since he was the one that got injured during it too. She didn't do any of that. She already knew it happened and she just went with it like that.
Did you want?
Well, yeah, because she was there.
I hate the way people judge other people in their moment of like trauma.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm just going to completely believe what the prosecutor said because that's not how I would behave or how I would expect somebody to behave. Just because that's not how you expect someone to behave doesn't mean that that is what happens the way someone else told it to you. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 48.
Yeah, I thought she was very chalant.
Oh, she was so chalant.
Yeah,
Hey,
Lori's
Masca.
N-word.
Yeah. I just can't believe how much these people just like buy like a completely fabricated story. It could be a completely fabricated story by the state. As far as they know, it could be completely fabricated.
Did Lori say she ran when she heard a gunshot?
And didn't check to see who was shot. Lori's words. I'd rather know. I wasn't there.
Okay.
You listened to the whole trial, didn't you?
Yeah, but a lot of that was Trina, and I kind of am still haunted by her voice.
Wanted to testify?
I guess I don't know. Yes, seeing Charles's sister's reaction when they did say she pled guilty was really relieving. It made all of us feel really good that they got justice.
get your first
John Gary.
Natasha Smith.
Hi.
Natasha Smith.
Also known as Tosh Reed Tucker, though.
I know she's completely guilty, right? I know that because I know a bunch of other stuff about her, right? But these jurors, assuming they know nothing about her, the case that was put forth by the state was very weak. It was really, really weak, right? So, as far as the jurors knew, it could have been completely fabricated. The Gilbert police, they didn't
They bought it.
believe any. They bought that it was self-defense, and they closed it off for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So all they had really was a couple of text messages, and the most damning one was after the fact.
Ned.
Yeah, about this Ned character. So, and even this woman here is saying that that was the most damning thing, that it was this thing about, oh, we got rid of Ned after, and that was after, and so it's supposed to be collusion. So I just don't see how it's such a strong case and how they're also convinced if they really didn't know anything about her. That's all. So.
Tosh Reed Tucker.
Yes.
Can you spell that?
TASS, and then my last name is Reed Tucker, REED-Tucker.
Do you plan to go watch a bunch of stuff about this case now, or?
Yes, I believe we're told that there's a Netflix documentary, and you can basically just Google it. Everything will pop up. So that's probably what I'm going to do when I get here.
The Netflix documentary will tell you everything. Yeah, like, because they're always 100% factual. Lying when 911 was called, Lori lying about when 911 was called in relation to the shooting was huge, in my opinion.
Why? I don't know if she lied or just the officers assumed that it was like 45 minutes later. Or she left and nobody called 911 for like 45 minutes. So they kind of assumed the shooting had just happened when they got there.
They realized the timeline was off, but why did they? Okay, so why did they realize the timeline was off 5 years later?
Yeah.
Right? Why did it take 5 years to work that out? They thought everything was fine and it was self-defense, and they let Alex go. They let Lori go, and I still can't get over how, in closing arguments, Tina was like, "Oh, well, there's no question about Alex being guilty. That's been proven. Has it? Has there been a trial for Alex?
Well,
no.
Posthumously.
There's been no trial for Alex,
Yeah.
right? So, okay, so Alex is guilty of murder, is he? Well, Gilbert police didn't seem to think so. They let him go. Right? So we're just going to accept that Alex is guilty of murder, are we?
Yeah.
Okay, that suits your story.
Yeah, it helps her. But I mean, her theory of the case was very different than the police's theory of the case for quite a while.
Yeah. So I mean, we know now. The rest of us know now, right? What probably almost definitely happened. But Gilbert police fucked up bad, and so what? We're just going to let them get away with it and just accept and not make the state do their job properly.
Yeah.
And then the jury just goes, okay, well she's laughing and she's not reacting properly, so okay, well she's guilty. People are so stupid.
Okay, so we're gonna try to do the interview with the lovely Lori.
Okay, yeah, this is good.
Hopefully I don't get taken down, but if it goes black, guys, let me know in chat.
That's quite racist.
Well, you're one to talk. So I may have to like pull something else up. There's our girl.
There
Yeah.
Got it. I'll make sure everything's kind
What a
of
cutie
squared
patootie.
up. Perfect. You got enough room?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. We're good? You guys good? Yep. Cool. Well, it's been an interesting 2.5 weeks.
Has it only been that long?
Yeah,
Has it been like
feels a little longer,
Aw.
I would say.
Yeah, it went fast.
It went
Yeah, so I saw her at court every day. She kind of strolled in around 9:30 a.m. Somebody
This
was
chick.
holding her seat, yeah, in line.
This is not Heidi, is it?
No.
Right.
No, this girl's kind of hoary, whereas Heidi's classy.
Oh, right. Take down notice immediately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I gotta. Heidi would advance her career through her own on her own merits and intellect. This girl advances her career in other ways.
you think?
Oh yeah,
I actually think this chick is a pretty good interviewer.
I'm just saying
Okay,
she
go
didn't get the
on.
job for her interviewing skills. I was not impressed with her.
Okay, Mr. Media Pass, Mr.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mr. Goodwill Suit.
Damn straight. Dead guy Goodwill suit. Thank you very
Dead
much.
dead guy Goodwill Suit. Okay, let's go.
I need to make myself a media pass for the next trial.
fast. Guilty. Did you expect that?
No.
Not at all.
Oh,
I mean,
poor Lori. Well, that's an unfortunate pause. Oh, wait. Lori has freaking lipstick on?
Yeah, like she was fully made up for the last interview too.
I guess I missed the lipstick.
Yeah, they made her up.
Okay. Look at that.
Obviously, I knew that's a possibility. Yeah, so it was a bit of a surprise, actually.
What made you surprised that it went that direction?
Is this the interview after the trial? Yep. So, and I have to pause it a bunch so they don't get all pissy with me and try to take me down.
Direction.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised knowing what I know about the judicial system and how it works. So,
You tell them, Lori. Let me just change the video for a second.
it still was. Just, you were there, so from what happened,
I was there too, Lori. Gosh.
Shout out
I
to
was surprised at
Dali.
that outcome.
And we didn't really see any noticeable reaction from you or really anybody else in the courtroom when that verdict was read. When you did hear it, what was your first thought?
So,
The F word. Here. You know what my first thought was?
What?
So, it's not a secret that I had a near-death experience, right? I talked about it at my sentencing. And when you have that experience and you go to the other side of the veil, you understand, you have a life review. You see your whole life, everything that happened to you. And you see what's important and what's unimportant. And you see
Sorry, JJ.
what matters in life. So what matters in life is how you react to things, how you treat other people, and the love that you give while you're here on earth.
Aw. Well said, Lori. Thank you. Yes, that's our live studio audience, guys.
Indeed.
And that's it.
So you felt not
That's it.
reacting was the best call in that moment?
No, I felt like I should have joy in every situation, which is what I was taught to do in heaven.
So you
In heaven?
When?
I think that was hell, Lori, but okay.
No,
had a
she
list
she's
of
been
witnesses
heaven
you could
already.
call.
Well, she said she had a near-death experience.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So she got to see what Jebediah Smith, the Mormon guy, Joseph, Jebediah Joseph Smith.
Your parents, your sister, even your brother again, but you chose not to. And I think you resting without calling anybody was a surprise to everybody who had been following the trial. What went into that decision?
So did you?
I'm still pissed she didn't try to subpoena Nate again.
Me too.
That would have been so amazing.
There's still time.
Read any of the motions that were filed precluding my sister and my mother from speaking about certain subjects?
Some of them, yes.
And then did you read any of the motions that were precluding me from asking certain questions to the law enforcement?
Yes.
So, and did you see all the people that they struck from my witness list?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, she has a point about that. She actually has a really good point about that. They really did neuter her witness list quite a bit.
They spade it.
And did not work with her to get people subpoenaed, and you might as well, if you're going through the motions, you might as well do it right.
So,
What did that leave you with?
That's what I'm saying. In the judicial system, the way that it works is they really don't let you put on a defense. They just don't. They don't let you put on your defense the way that you want to present.
Damn, Lori, coming in
It's kind
hot.
of right. It's kind of right.
Congratulations, well done.
Wait.
Amazing. Incredible. Congratulations, well done.
So you think, and this is what I thought too, because you're naive when you go into it, right? Like, I didn't know, I was 46 years old the first time I was ever arrested. I didn't know how the system worked. I didn't know any of that. So you think they get to tell their side and you get to tell your side. And you think that's the way that it works. And it doesn't. It doesn't work that way at all. And in a high profile case like this, there's money and jobs and things that are going on way behind the scenes that nobody sees. I mean, what you saw, it's even interesting. So think about this. What you saw, how many different things did you see than what the jury saw? Because you see the arguing of.
Yeah, that's how it works, sweetie.
She's 100% right. I wish that it wasn't her that was saying this. I wish it was somebody that people actually listen to and believe who was saying this. It's tricky because maybe Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Like, because I mean, a lot of people don't like Kyle Rittenhouse, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, or Mark Jensen.
You know. Maybe I'll say this on my channel.
Motions. You see all the things that the prosecutor's saying behind the scenes, and they don't get to even see any of that. So it's the way that this is.
Well, that's the point of arguing about motions.
System works, and it's what it does. And so, yeah, they precluded me basically from having a defense. They precluded you from talking about the things that would be most important to prove your case. So if the judge precludes all those things, what are you supposed to get up and say?
I guess in your case, though, you could have testified.
That's true.
Why not?
So there's a lot of reasons.
Boy. Let's see. Really?
Well, I mean, John Gary, maybe she does. Maybe she thinks she can call anyone she wants, whether they have anything relevant to say, and that he or she should be admitted. Well, she's a pro se defendant. She doesn't really understand the rules, but she is making very good points in that people don't see everything that happens prior to trial. They don't see all the motions to suppress. They don't see the orders from the judge prior. So they think that they're seeing everything, but they're not. And more often than not, those motions get ruled in favor of the prosecution. So when there are real lawyers arguing, like we're seeing, for example, in the Koberger pretrial hearings, there are competent lawyers on both sides who are arguing for what goes into trial. And we're seeing the judge 90% of the time rule in favor of the prosecution. So in that instance, if people only watch the trial, they're thinking, oh, well, we're seeing everything, but you're not. You're seeing what the judge has ruled that mainly that the prosecution wants in.
Very true.
The way that the system works, if I were to really explain, because now being behind the scenes of the system, I mean, obviously you see things differently, but it's very interesting what the state is allowed to do. So if you put on any kind of a case, okay, any kind of defense, one person, like one detective.
I mean, she is an expert at this now.
Say the detective Moffat that they didn't put on the stand, right? I really wanted to put him on the stand.
You wanted to cross
examine him. Well, he was the case agent for the first, year and a half or something like that. So he's the one that talked to everybody. He's the one that found out all the information. And they didn't put him on at all. And I think that was because of the exhibits that I was proposing were mainly of him, right? So they didn't put him on at all because they didn't want me to cross-examine him on the stand. So if I put up anybody, if I put up one person, then they get to put on a whole nother case after that. They get to put on a rebuttal case after that.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't know how, if you just did like one officer or the lead officer, I don't know what kind of rebuttal they would have, but okay.
So they can, and I think this is like the MO of the state. So this is how trial works. Like they put on their case and then you put on your case and then they can go back and put on a whole nother case. Like they kind of save it for the end.
No. It's called rebuttal, sweetie. You present new evidence.
Yeah.
And then the state has a chance to present their side of the evidence.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And so there's strategy involved and there's, I think of couples retreat. I'm a big movie buff, so I think of things. And I think I've studied yoga and Tai Chi and the art of war. I mean, that's kind of like...
Oh, my God. Yes, she really is a big Sun Tzu philosopher. How many witnesses? She called no witnesses in the trial. She rested right away.
It's crazy what really is going on behind this.
So you didn't want Trina K to get back up there and present a lot more after if you were to have testified?
I didn't do it for that purpose. I just knew that is a possibility.
We were talking to the jurors after the verdict, and they had a lot of interesting things to say. One of them...
Oh, look at her. She's getting excited now.
I would be really interested to hear what they said. I didn't get to hear any of that, so I've been sleeping.
So one of...
Aw.
them thought not guilty until closing arguments. Do you feel like you did not do enough in closing arguments to have convinced that juror to keep that decision?
I just don't know how the hell Trina K's closing argument convinced anyone.
Right?
Okay, it's boring as hell.
How did they stay awake?
I know.
I don't think that it was my job really to convince them. I was just trying to present it from my side,
Well, welcome to being a criminal defense lawyer, Lori. Yeah, it's not your job, but in actuality it is.
A lot of them had the same questions that we thought. So just to kind of bring you into what affected them the most.
Sure. I'd love to hear that, actually.
So all of them sat there wondering, where is Tylee? She's in the body camera footage.
Right.
Why is she not testifying? And they felt that there was a part of the story missing, which they didn't know about your previous convictions, but they were correct.
Did they not know?
They did not know. According to them.
Well, I think now's a good time to go back to our buddy Carl. And I'll play that clip real quick.
Oh, Carl, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember your reaction learning that she has been convicted of killing her 2 children?
I feel sorry for her. I mean, driving home yesterday, I was like, God,
I'm driving home yesterday. I'm like, God.
Spending the rest of the next 3 lives in prison.
She's spending the next 3 lives in a prison in a cell.
Her next 3 lives.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Well, that's a bit of a faux pas, sir.
Oopsie. Oh, should I have not said that?
So I don't know. Maybe he just misspoke.
No, this whole misspoke thing is bullshit. How do you
Yeah.
misspeak that you heard it yesterday?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see what comes of that.
Nothing's going to come of it.
Well, the motions and such. I mean,
Well, she would have to file a motion.
unless it goes to like yeah, because we're still at we're not at the appellate stage yet. We're still at like the post-conviction motions and things like that.
Yeah, she would have to file a motion, right? So, do you think? What?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think that she would file a motion for juror misconduct and for a mistrial based on juror misconduct to try and get a new trial in Arizona?
In theory, she could try.
She absolutely should try, but do
Yeah.
you think she will?
Oh no. Well, I don't know if she will, but I don't think she would get it anyways.
By law, she should.
Yeah.
It's absolutely clear.
Yeah.
Like there should at least be a hearing about it. So it should be some investigation into it. There should be a hearing about it. But I don't think she will. She wants to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. And
She just wants to get the other trial over and get out of there.
yeah. Mads, am I getting this right? She puts on no case and the state still gets rebuttal? No. The reason she's saying she didn't put on a case so the state would not get a rebuttal and be able to put on more evidence.
Huh? They always get a rebuttal.
No, not if she rests.
No. Does he mean rebuttal as in rebuttal witnesses?
Case. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we'll go back to the.
Okay, so and let's think about this, right? If he heard about this last night,
Mhm.
who else heard about this last night?
Yeah. Did one of the jurors actually know and tell everyone?
Yeah, who told him?
I mean, at the very least, it'd be kind of like a Murdaugh situation where you would want to call the jurors in and ask them.
Yeah, who knew about this? When did you find out about this? Did someone tell somebody? What's the deal? Like, is it one juror? Like, how far does the taint spread?
A lot of taint.
Because there's a bunch of taint. We know there's taint. We already know there's taint. Carl's got taint.
Oh, plenty of taint on Carl.
Taint's gotten to Carl. So Carl's admitted it.
Yep.
Who else has been tainted?
And they did not know, and they shouldn't have known based on
They should
how
have known, and it was weird, right? Because it seemed like Trina K was talking around Tylee without talking directly about her, you know. So I'm sure that was confusing.
Would you have wanted the jurors to know that she's dead?
I was precluded from giving out that information.
But you wouldn't have wanted that, sweetie.
So that's the way the law works, right? We were both precluded. So that
No, you weren't precluded. You were. If you had given out the information she's dead, it's opening the door. The other side would have loved to parade your prior convictions of murdering your daughter to the jury.
made it very awkward, don't you think?
But let's say you weren't. Would you have preferred the jurors to know that Tylee was dead?
I don't know that. I think they obviously did know.
Well, they said they learned afterwards. So as they were coming out, people were saying, you can now look up the case. So they were Googling things and they're seeing all these prior
So you
conviction.
don't think that happened during deliberations? Like maybe one person informed all of them that that was the case?
I mean, obviously, I won't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
See, Lori's on to them. Look at that. Lori's going to get to the bottom of it. Just you wait.
No, I'm not saying I was there.
But they were upset when they found out that Tylee and JJ are both dead. For you, seeing Tylee on the video, I mean, what was that like for you? You were convicted in her death, but we're seeing video of her in that courtroom.
Well, I understand where Tylee is in heaven. I know what she's doing.
Oh, look at you.
And I know where she is. And so it's been almost 6 years since she passed away. I mean, this is the catalyst, right? What happened with her and Charles was the catalyst of her killing herself. So I was precluded from talking about that. I was precluded from bringing that up.
Video of her in that courtroom.
Well, I understand where Tylee is in heaven. I know what she's doing and I know where she is. And so it's been almost 6 years since she passed away. I mean, this is the catalyst, right? What happened with her and Charles was the catalyst of her killing herself. So.
Did she just say Tylee killed herself?
Wait, go back 20 seconds.
Listen to this.
Video, I mean, what was that like for you? You were convicted in her death, but we're seeing video of her in that courtroom.
Well, I understand where Tylee is in heaven. I know what she's doing and I know where she is. And so it's been almost 6 years since she passed away. I mean, this is the catalyst, right? What happened with her and Charles was the catalyst of her killing herself. So I was precluded from talking about that. I was precluded from bringing that up.
But the detectives obviously don't say that she.
What? Okay, no, I heard it.
You heard it?
Yeah.
She ended herself.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Mevka. No. That's not what Justin Smith. No. That's what she said. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she said. No, that's not. She did not say telling. Do you want to go back 5 seconds?
The catalyst, right? What happened with her and Charles was the catalyst of her killing herself. So I was precluded.
Yeah.
I mean, closed caption thinks that's it.
Wow.
From talking about that. I was precluded from bringing that up.
But the detectives obviously don't say that she killed herself.
She wanted to bring it up.
What the detectives say, but they weren't there.
So that's what actually leads me to my next question on this. So I know last time you said that there was a domino effect in our last interview that was kind of the cause or the result of all of these deaths.
She wanted to
when I
talk
asked you
about
it
it.
more, you said, I'll save that for next time.
She was precluded from bringing it up. She wanted to talk about it. Oh my God, she's way nuts, way more nuts than I thought. Hey.
But it's creepy because she's actually like put together enough and like.
Oh dear, I was buying it. Oh no. Oh dear.
Time. So here we are. What do you mean by domino effect? And was the catalyst of that Chad Daybell?
So because I still have my appeals and another trial coming up, right? I don't want to really necessarily get into the details of it, but yeah, it was a domino effect, one that I was not prepared for. Like what happened with Charles that day, between Tylee and Charles that day, had been building for.
Between Tylee and Charles that day. So, wow.
Months they had been getting into these fights, and I had to separate them physically twice. Tylee and I went and stayed in a hotel twice to get away because she was pushing his buttons like only a teenager can, you know. And when that happened that day, I mean, that's what I was precluded from discussing. I was precluded from talking about what led up to this incident, why it was so intense in those few minutes, why things happen like they happened. And so it was hard for me. It's hard for me to not be able to talk about that. It's hard for me to be able to say what actually happened. It's so hard because you think you're going to be able to get up and just tell what happened, and that's not the way the law works. It's not the way it's written. So nobody gets to do that. You know, I'm in here with these women that have these family
Oh God.
All these
now
family
the,
tragedies.
now the prison angel comes out.
tragedies too, and they're family tragedies. Things happen, and
Yeah, just family accidents.
they're precluded from telling the story. You're precluded from telling that in court, and the jury never gets to see that. So, and you see all the things that the jury doesn't get to see. I mean, they get very limited information. I mean,
Yes, accurate, verifiable, credible information.
saw how everything I tried to say, Trina K's like, she can't say that, she can't say that, she can't say that.
Well, half the time Trina K was trying to stop you from opening the door. She was trying to save your ass, sweetie.
I wouldn't go that far. I think
Well,
there's
trying to
actually
save
something
her
else.
ass from a new trial.
I don't think Trina K was actually prepared to go down that line. Right? So there's a lot of other work that would have needed to be done on Trina K's part in order to be prepared to actually prosecute her with all that other discovery material. She would have had to be familiar with it all, ready to question witnesses with all that other evidence. That would have it would have blown the trial out. And I don't think she was ready for it. I really think she just didn't want to go down that path. It would have complicated everything. The jurors would have been, it was not necessary. I think both, like, the judge didn't want it to go that way. He knew it was going to blow the trial out if it went that way. So it wasn't about saving her ass.
You know, and so
no one wanted
not
to
being a
save her
lawyer,
ass.
you know, and trying this, you know, myself, like I was always surprised, like, okay, well, I guess you can't really tell your side of the story ever. Like, I guess that's not how it works.
And I know with our interview, you referenced a family tragedy, and that was something that we heard in your opening and your closing arguments.
Right, absolutely.
But that phrase bothered a lot of people who know what happened in a totality, right?
Who knows what happened in totality
Damn straight. Ooh. Lori's getting a little snippy.
besides me? Who
Well,
was there?
I think everybody who's seen that you've been convicted of now
Wrongly
four
convicted,
deaths. 4
wrongly
deaths.
convicted, yes.
So if you say that you were wrongly convicted of the deaths of your children,
Yes.
who killed them?
So you know from my interview with Colby that I told him what really happened, and so that's just what happened.
Can you put that into your own words here?
I could, but I would probably save that for my next trial. So.
Oh my. I'm going
Stay
back.
tuned.
Now,
Wrongly
four
convicted,
deaths. 4
wrongly
deaths.
convicted, yes.
So if you say that you were wrongly convicted of the deaths of your children,
Yes.
who killed them?
So you know from my interview with Colby that I told him what really happened, and so that's just what happened.
Can you put that into your own words here?
I could, but I would probably save that for my next trial. So.
I want to ask you a little bit about the testimony.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Is she trying to say that she'll testify, or?
It sounds like she's gonna be bringing in a lot more stuff, or trying to. I don't know.
Maybe it's just like, make sure you watch me.
Maybe she's saving the crazy for round 2.
Obviously, this was your first time. I mean, you're not an attorney. What was that like cross-examining people for you, getting up there and having to be able to put into words your questions properly? You got a lot of objections and kind of had to revamp there on the spot. What was that like for you?
It's harder than it looks. It's harder than it looks. It's stressful in a way. Like your brain has to be going 100 miles an hour. You know, I've been in jail for over 5 years, almost 6 years, so you don't really have to use your brain very much in jail. So.
Aw, she sounds like Franklin Ty Tucker.
Look at the screen grab. Isn't she pretty?
Aw.
But then also kind of evil.
I don't know. I mean, they
Like
make
an evil pretty.
They edited the video to make her look more evil.
Look at the
guarantee.
lighting, right?
lighting,
but look
yeah.
at the actual lighting. Like, there's no way that room would have looked like that. Like,
No.
it's
They
so
turned the
dark,
lights
but
off.
then there's this one spotlight.
Yeah. Like she's about to be
Yeah.
waterboarded. Yeah, so that's, I mean, they always do that stuff.
It's
And
really
it's
interesting.
just creepy seeing, like, she just looks like one of her family and just a normal person when you see her. It's creepy, but
Well, I mean, Justin, like, she's pretty, but kind of creepy.
yeah.
Like, it's a really interesting visual, especially in that lighting. Yeah.
Nu vet jag varför ni behåller era whores.
Okay.
I think I nailed the pronunciation.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Mm.
I do like the whores at the end.
It was like mathlete or something, you're having to think all the time. So it was interesting. It was different than I thought it was going to be. It's difficult.
What was it like facing your brother for the first time in years?
Yeah, that's a good question. It all happened so
Yeah, that prick didn't like my green chili chicken enchiladas.
fast. I'm still really kind of processing. I mean, yesterday was the first day I slept in like 3 weeks or so. So today I slept into a little bit. I knew you guys were coming. I was like, I better get up because I knew you guys were coming. But
Oh, look at the time. Oh, golly, I need to get out of bed, get my hair did, take a shower. I got places to be, things to do. I'm a busy woman today.
Mm-hmm.
It was different than I thought.
Did you think that your interactions with Adam were positive between the two of you in the courtroom?
I didn't really think anything at the time. I was trying to be in just lawyer mode and kind of do my job at the time. It's hard because you have.
I know what you mean. I'm a
right?
fake
You're
lawyer
obviously
too.
emotional, and women were obviously more emotional than
She could be a YouTuber.
the men who get up and do it. But I tried to mostly be in attorney mode and try to stick to that.
Well, and that's an interesting point because I think the difference that we saw with you versus if you had an attorney was sometimes there were personal aspects. For example, the green chili chicken enchiladas. That became a piece.
Okay, you just redeemed yourself, girl. Okay,
Girl.
that's pretty good. I'm glad she brought that up. And she better ask for the recipe. She asked for the recipe. She's gonna be up there.
Huge part of this that I don't think anybody had on their bingo card that was going to be part of this trial. But obviously an attorney would not have started going into that. Why bring that up? And what was that interaction between you and Adam like?
So, I don't know. I mean, it was different when it was up there with him because, you've known him your whole life. I was going to come in and say, I'm funny. I'm always doing movie lines. Our whole family is like that. We're big on movie lines. Like Summer and I will text back and forth in total movie lines without any words ever that are our own, just quoting back and forth. And so I wanted to come in and ask Adam, who is Ernest T. Watson? And see what his reaction would be because there's no way he couldn't laugh.
No, he seemed to know.
Princess, I think there's a way he couldn't laugh.
He hates your guts.
Yeah, why don't you start quoting Breaking Bad? Like the episode where they kill the kid.
Oh no.
I was going to do Sopranos, but
On the stand.
Yeah, well, he would laugh because that was the name that he called himself when we used to play school when we were little growing up. That was like his nerdy name for school when we played school. So I thought.
yeah, I don't think he's too fond of his Boy Scout memories, sweetie.
That would be funny, but I was trying to be. I mean, it's obviously a serious situation, but it's hard with my own family to be serious because we're really a joking family, and so.
Would you call you and Adam estranged
Really?
now?
Not really necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of the personal part of this, I want to touch on a little bit more of that in the testimony. So it seemed from a totality standpoint that some of the testimony that bothered you the most was talking about Charles dating other women, specifically with Nancy Jo Hancock, but you also referenced it in your cross-examination of Detective Duncan. Why did that aspect bother you so much? You referenced it in your cross-examination of Detective Duncan. Why did that aspect bother you so much?
I don't think it bothered me that much. I think it surprised me because I wasn't aware of any of that until we got the discovery.
You did not know he was dating other women?
No.
But you were having the affair with Chad Daybell, so how does that
You can say affair, but Chad was really just my best friend.
at the time?
Chad was just my best friend whose penis went inside me on the regular. That's all. It wasn't an affair. Don't be vulgar. Don't disrespect our friendship.
Oh, it was a meeting of loins, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, loin to loin.
Loin to loin, that's right.
Yes.
But then you got married a few months later.
Correct.
So you...
Good Lord, did Chad find a way to escape the friend zone? He needs to write a book.
You were just friends, according to you, with Chad before Charles' death.
Correct.
And then only romantic things started after Charles' death.
Correct.
Do you still, to this day, believe that Charles was
I mean, I still slept with him, but it wasn't romantic.
a dark spirit, a possessed spirit named Ned?
That's a whole thing that has been way misconstrued.
Can you clear it up?
Probably not in the 5 minutes we have left.
Obviously, I have to ask, right? Because
Oh, I wish you cleared it up.
so much centered around the religion part of this, including these Nephi texts. The Nephi text, I think, became possibly the crux of this trial, and it also was what affected the jurors most. They felt that some of those text messages between you and Alex were some of the most damning evidence in this.
Is that what they're saying now?
That's what they're saying now.
Interesting.
So how do you describe the Nephi texts?
So yeah, they've been totally and completely misconstrued. So I explained that somewhat in my closing. That's their job. So the prosecution, the state, they're not there, right? They receive all this information and then they make up a story that
Well, she's right about that.
goes along with whatever information that they have, right? They make it up. It's a made up story. They weren't there. They didn't experience it. So they have no idea. They have to make up a story and then they have to stick to it. And then they put that out to the media and then they put their narrative out and then they stick to their narrative. So you've heard this for 5 years, but it's very misconstrued.
So what is it?
So when you're speaking spiritually to someone else who
Oh, spiritually.
understands spiritual things. So say Chad, for instance,
Yes.
right? Chad had a near-death experience. He's had 3, actually. I had a near
Why, did you try to kill him?
Yeah, several people did.
death experience. We both went to heaven. We both had that experience. So what bonded us is it's a very lonely place to have that kind of knowledge and have no one to talk to about it in your life that understands that. And so when someone else understands that and you're speaking spiritually, we weren't speaking of anything on earth. We weren't speaking of anything that was happening here. We're speaking of things that are
Okay, princess.
happening in the spirit world. So anybody that's going to read any text of yours, it's going to be way over their head in the sense that they had had those experiences. So they have nowhere to put them.
So what does be like Nephi mean?
Be
to you?
courageous, be brave, have perseverance.
And why did you have to be
That's
brave in that situation? What were you referencing then to be brave about?
So Adam and Charles and Brandon were plotting against me. My sister was worried about it. My mom was telling me about it. I didn't really realize it. I was in the middle of taking care of kids with special needs, a daughter with chronic illness and a son with special needs. So if you know anything about kids with autism, it's 24 hours a day. And I was busy mom. They were like, oh, this is weird. Adam came into town and he's with Charles and you haven't talked to him and we need to let you know there's something going on. Maybe you could come stay at my house. You know, my sister had that whole thing of things, come stay at my house. I can't pick up JJ and go stay at someone else's house. It ruins his routine.
So you were referring to the intervention?
What they call an intervention. Now I don't believe that's what it was at all.
What did you believe
I
it
think
was?
they have other plans completely.
So when Charles died, why did you guys wait 47 minutes to call 911? That became a huge part
I didn't
of
wait
this
any
trial.
time. I didn't wait any time.
Well, I guess you didn't call at all.
Because
Alex called.
That's right. It was his responsibility in my mind that he took over and was handling that situation. I was getting the kids out of danger.
Do you think he should have called sooner?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yeah. I think he probably freaked out. You know, Charles and Alex were
Okay.
friends for years. Like Alex lived with us for like 6 months in 2018.
Yeah, Charles really liked his stand-up routine.
And he and Charles would hang out all weekend and they go do stuff together. And Charles loved Alex and Alex loved Charles. Like this just happened this day the way that it happened. And it was a tragedy. You know, Alex was probably freaked out as I was of the whole situation. So I don't know why he did what he did. And, you know, he's not here for me to ask him anymore.
Do you regret representing yourself in this trial?
No.
Why?
It's for the same reasons I told you before about getting a speedy trial. I'm doing that for all the women in here that have been sitting here for
Well, aren't you a sweetie?
so many years, and I told you, like, I wouldn't expect attorneys to be able to do that. They want more time, so I'll continue to go through the motions, and we have another trial coming up in a couple of weeks. We have lots to do for that trial and preparing and getting ready, and maybe some of those things will be cleared up in this trial. They filed a motion that they're going to bring in everything now.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so if the judge allows that, which
who knows?
What do you think he's going to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know.
You tell me what you think he's going to do, Brianna. You think he's going to say, nope, no 404B, we're not going to let any of that stuff in? I mean,
the judge was relatively patient with you, I thought, throughout the trial.
Did you feel
that? Well,
No,
I think he was
not
helping you. One more. Given that you were just found guilty, and I know you don't like the jail conditions, would you change your plea in Brandon's trial?
No.
Why?
Will I change it? No. Because I didn't do anything. So no, there comes a point when you just have to stand up, regardless of what they do to you, right? Like, this will have zero effect on me in eternity. Zero effect on me in eternity. And I already know that. So I'm here to help whatever women I can help in here be courageous and stand up for themselves, because it's a system that bogs you down. These women are bogged down. They've been here for years. They've been treated horrible in this situation, and they've been treated horrible by their own attorneys. They've been treated like, okay, they've been here for 8, 9, 10 years waiting to go to trial, when the conditions at the prison, even if they got convicted, are a million times better than they are right here. So I'm helping them to stand up and be courageous. If you didn't do it, you just get up and say you didn't do it. If they convict you because that's the way the law works, then they're going to convict you because that's the way the law works. It is designed to convict you. It is not designed to acquit you. And I want you to look this up, and I want you to tell me next time we talk, how many people in Maricopa County in a murder case get acquitted. I want to know the percentage. Get acquitted, because I bet you it's like less than 1%.
It's not often that we see it. That's for sure. Yeah.
Probably
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
95, but okay. Well, I do like the it's quite nice that she's gonna, sounds like, stick being pro se for the next trial.
Yes. Whew, whew, whew. So there was another interview. Did you see it? With what's her face? The she?
Yeah. With Hidden True Crime.
Oh no, not just with them. She was with Nate.
She's been on with everyone.
Oh yeah, she's been whoring herself around.
Yeah, she's a dirty whore.
Yeah. She was with Nate. Can you bring that one up?
Oh yeah. And play it for a couple minutes. Dun dun. Someone got a Canva subscription. Look at this. Oh, he uses a little slide in.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for watching tonight. I'm Nate Eaton. Welcome to Courtroom Insider. It is April 24th of the jury today, about Lori Daybell, about Tyler verdict, the else that type. With you binged, watched, and read everything about the case, or have you kind of unplugged?
I have. I've watched it, and just kind of relaxing now that it's done. And yeah, it was pretty crazy, everything that we saw.
What's been the biggest surprise that you've learned since the trial's been over about the circumstances with this case?
By the time she even gets to this part of the whole thing, she won't even make it to it, which is crazy because she's already serving so much in Idaho.
You mean by the time she gets whatever she said to do with this part doesn't really matter, because in Idaho she has the 3 life sentences.
Yeah.
So you didn't even know any of that?
No.
No idea. And now that you've learned, did you ever during the trial, my big question was for the jurors, you kept hearing about Tylee. Did you ever wonder, well, where is Tylee?
Yes. Yeah, but we couldn't really ask about it or look into it because we were asked not to. So.
Did you think that Tylee was still alive?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah, because at the time she was only 16, so that would only put her in her 20s.
Mm-hmm. What was the biggest surprise for you in the trial? Like, what was there one day or one witness that really like surprised you?
Actually, yeah, the girl that met up with Charles the day before.
Nancy Joe.
Yeah, it was a little bit it was pretty interesting to watch hers. More because it blew up for her comeback, what she said, but I was surprised that she was there.
Wait, I think you mean the moment when Lori said, "So you spent your whole time talking about me," and she said, "Don't flatter yourself."
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that.
Yeah, she was a memorable witness. I know a lot of people were impressed with her. What was your thought about Lori, how the job she did in representing herself?
Honestly, the first part was a little shaky. The first week was a little bit shaky, but then the second part, I think she did pretty well. Other than like the parts where she got a little bit sassy, but yeah.
Right. I think that's kind of her personality. How about the prosecution? How do you think they did?
I think they did extremely well. They got her. You could tell that they cracked her a few times, and that was good. That was a good thing to see happen and watch because it helped us with the overall.
Right, to the overall picture, the overall story of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Was there ever a moment where you were like confused or like wondering, wait, who are we talking about here? Because there's a lot of characters here, and there's a lot of your one character becomes Ned because he's a zombie. I mean, were you ever just trying to put it all together in your mind?
Yes, but I like to think that I did pretty good at taking notes. So I wrote all the times down. I wrote all the names down. I wrote when it happened. I had pages and pages and pages of notes. So I looked at those every day at the end, and I was pretty good at keeping on track with who everyone was and all that.
Very, very smart of you to do that. You didn't get to keep the notes, so yeah, they kept them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What was the deliberation like? Did you all watch the video that Lori asked you to watch?
We did. What we saw in court on the big screen, the clippets of it, was the parts that were actually important to hear. Like what she wanted us to watch wasn't anything. We were confused why she wanted us to watch the whole thing because what they showed was important pieces of the interview, and out of the whole thing, she was kind of smiling, laughing, not really serious. So we were kind of confused why she wanted us to watch it because it just helped in our overall decision.
It didn't help her then?
No.
Did it hurt her?
Yes, because if you're in an interview minutes after this whole thing happened, you'd think that you'd be kind of like scared, shaky, maybe questioning, but she took her sandals off, she crossed her legs, she sat up straight she was sitting in the recliner like she lived there, and then she was laughing and joking with the detective, and yeah.
And the word of the trial seemed to be, one of the words was nonchalant, and that's what your take of how she was?
Yes, exactly that. It was interesting to see how she acted like that after all that happened.
Was there a piece of evidence that really stuck out to you? I mean, did seeing the bat and the gun and the piece of floor, did that help put it together?
No. Well, so if we were doing Alex's case, it would have, right? But being on her case, we weren't we already know Alex did it. He admitted to it. What we were there for is the conspiracy to do it. So like seeing all the evidence, super cool. But it was the text messages,
Super
it was the
cool.
interviews, and how she was acting in court that helped us.
Interesting.
But the part that stood out to us was where she said that Charles was Ned before they got rid of him. She specifically said before we got rid of him. And then she said, we're both going to be like Nephi. So that was the part where we all were like, yeah, that's.
Oh, I like Nate's in this hotel room for this interview.
Again, it's a text message about something that happened after the fact. It's not collusion before the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish the state had better evidence, but they don't. Okay, I gotta jump.
Yep. We'll end in a minute and redirect y'all over.
Okay, see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to put in chat Hella's link here. We're going to redirect over now to Excited Utterance. Do a free Rick Allen stream. And it's been a lot of fun hanging out, guys. We will, in the next week or two, start doing some more Lori streams on the Brandon Boudreaux and what we expect to see in the new trial. And, you know, some of the body cams maybe from the incidents involving Brandon, and see if there's any motions yet to go through. So it's been a lot of fun, guys, and I shall see y'all over there. Toodles.